Welcome to Yellowstone, home of crystal clear hot springs, boiling mud, and of course, magnificent wildlife. Come along with us as we take you to some of our favorite areas within the park. We entered from the south as we just wrapped up in the Tetons, and we made our way over to the West Thumb Geyser Basin.
Look how silty this one is. It's not clear at all.
One of the unique things about Yellowstone is these pools change all the time. So you can see how big it was at one point, and right now it's way down. And then tomorrow it could be full again, who knows?
I think the craziest thing about these pools is they look so inviting. And you can notice with this one too, it even has like a ledge. And you're like, oh, perfect. You can jump right in. Except it's boiling.
It'll boil your skin right off. Now this basin is one of the smallest in the park, and the thermal activity has actually slowed down over the years. But since it's located right on the shores of Yellowstone Lake, it is absolutely beautiful here, and you get a wide variety of different features. This is the most junk we've ever seen on all these.
So that's the second umbrella we've seen. And obviously we've seen a hat and we've seen other garbage too. So just an extra reminder, leave no trace, hold on to your items, even if it's windy. So one of our favorite stories is that fishermen used to stop along the banks of the lake and dip their fish inside these bubbling geysers that are right on the waterfront, and it would cook their fish for them.
After doing the loop, we jumped in the car and made our way north towards the mud volcano area. This entire area is known for its sulfur smell, and along with the sulfur, it is also very acidic. In fact, one of the cauldrons here is so acidic, it's almost the same as stomach acid.
So that last one that you saw, it's extra cool because it used to actually live 200 feet west of where it is right now. So it's moved 200 feet east, and that's the cool thing about Yellowstone. Things are always changing, which we love. We were here 2 years ago, and even though we remember a lot of this, it's still really cool to see everything again because nothing's ever exactly the same.
We had to bypass the Old Faithful area because we just didn't have enough time, and there's a lot of hiking you can do around Old Faithful. So instead, we made our way over towards Grand Prismatic. Grand Prismatic is the third largest spring in the world, and it is really well known for all of its vibrant colors. In fact, if you go on a sunny day, you'll probably see every single color of the rainbow in this spring. Now, what a lot of people don't recognize is that it's about 120 some feet deep, and it's bigger than a football field, hence why it was given the name Grand Prismatic. This is a very popular location in Yellowstone, and the parking lot is tiny, so you either need to get here early in the morning or hope you get lucky in the afternoon. So that is a Grand Prismatic area. It's probably one of the busiest areas in the park. It's super majestic, especially on a sunny day because you see all the colors. But it was kind of weird today because there's a lot of steam. So I wonder if it's a temperature change that's creating all that steam and you can't really get the full effect. But you can see it from this, or you can go to the Fairy Falls trailhead and you can hike up and see it from the top down, which is also really cool. So there's a couple different ways you can check it out. Just past the Midway Geyser Basin is Firehole Lake Drive. It is a short little loop that I recommend doing before heading north to check out more of the areas in Yellowstone. So the game to play in Yellowstone is it a fart or is it a geyser? Because they're both pretty damn similar. The drive from Madison northward is extremely pretty, and there's a lot of different pullouts that you can take. But since we've seen a lot of these already, we continued our way up towards Norris Geyser Basin, which once again is a very popular destination. So try to get here early so that you can find parking. Otherwise, you may have to sit and wait for a spot to open or park a long ways away.
It's sprinkling sulfur on us right now.
Sulfur storm.
Well, no wonder this one's so steamy. It's called Steamboat Geyser.
This was a really cool morning, which caused a lot of excess steam. So some of these were actually pretty hard to see because the steam blocked all of your view. This section here is the back basin, which is kind of a foresty setting, except there was a wildfire that came through in the 80s that burned a lot of the trees. But this zone is less acidic, so vegetation is able to grow back here. If you have spent a lot of time in your car, this basin is a great place to shake out the legs. You can get a few miles of hiking around all these geysers and springs pretty easily. Now we make our way into the Porcelain Basin, which is extremely hot and acidic. In fact, it's so acidic almost no vegetation can grow in this basin at all. It also changes constantly, so every time you go, it's going to look different and new springs and geysers will pop up as other ones die.
And then there are some trail closures to be aware of.
Okay, back into the car we go, and we continue to make our way up towards Mammoth Hot Springs. If you haven't seen any elk yet, this is your chance to see them because there's usually a herd hanging out right next to all the cars. Every single time we've come to Mammoth Hot Springs, the water is flowing differently. And sometimes we even thought maybe the springs are dying. But that is actually just how it is here. The water changes day to day. In some sections it'll be flowing, and then the next day it won't be flowing at all. But over the years, the overall volume of water that's flowing over the entire area has not changed. This is a great example of how dynamic this area is. This is what it looks like right now, and then I will show you a photo from a couple years ago so you can see just how much it's changed in that amount of time. Now we start heading east towards Tower Junction, which is a section of the park we've actually never done because it's been closed the last couple times that we've gone to this area. You have a high likelihood of seeing herds of animals along this drive. This is where the majority of the bison are hiding and a lot of the other wildlife. We will come back and explore more of Lamar Valley later on.
You can see look how tall you are.
So the previous 2 times that we've come to Yellowstone, the Tower Road has been closed. So this was our first time actually being able to drive down it. And it's really neat. You just have these vast viewpoints along the whole way. And there's also a couple of waterfalls along the way as well. So I definitely think it's worth the drive. And I think if you time it right, you actually can see quite a bit of animals in these areas. There's some talk of some bighorn sheep that way as well. So there could be some really cool opportunities along this route. Have you been to the Grand Canyon before? The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, that is. If not, well, we're about to arrive, so you'll be able to see a quick little glimpse of what it looks like. The lower falls that you see right here is 308 feet tall, and it is one of the most photographed features in all of Yellowstone. There are quite a few vantage points that you can hike down to see the falls from different angles. In the canyon itself, at the deepest point it is 1,200 feet, and at the widest point it is 4,000 feet. So it's pretty decent size. Now we are arriving at my favorite part of the park, Lamar Valley, which is home to the best wildlife viewing you will find. So the best times to find animals is early in the morning and in the evening. And a lot of times you can drive through Lamar Valley on the way towards Cooke City, and you can see people pulled over and have their spotting scopes out looking for wolves. There was one spot where we ran into that, but they saw them this morning and they were kind of on the move, so I don't think it was a den. We're over here, there's tons of bison. We're just kind of scoping and seeing what's available, but you know, we haven't had that much luck with wildlife photography on this trip, except for tons of bison and a little bit of elk. But I'm hoping between either tonight or tomorrow, maybe we'll have a nice spotting of wolves. And I don't have much hope for bears, so we shall see. Sarah wanted me to remind you that we did see pronghorn, and that's extremely important. So that is cool. We did see one of those. But usually we see more than just one, so that's kind of weird too. Alright, we found more pronghorn. It's not just the one. It's been another good day in Yellowstone, and we have one more morning left. So we'll see what we can find tomorrow morning before we head out and make our way towards Geyser National Park. So we talked about seeing the animals first thing in the morning in Lamar Valley. That will be your best chance to see a wide variety of animals. So if you want to be as close to Lamar Valley as possible, you have Silvergate and you have Cooke City. And we rented this little Airbnb in Cooke City, which should be within about 15 minutes of Lamar Valley. Super cute little thing. Great for two people. For us, it's everything that we need for the night. And then we'll be able to wake up early and go into the valley and hopefully see some wildlife.
Alright, so you can't see it in my camera, but there's a bull moose and a female moose. Female looks like she's actually starting to move, Brian. Getting some pictures. People are out here with their spotting scopes. But they're just chilling.
So this is the reality of the wildlife game, is you might get something very first thing in the morning and it will make your entire day, like that moose. And then after that, you might not get much at all. It's a very hit and miss game. And I think right now, I don't really think people know where the wolves are, because we saw wolf trackers kind of looking around. And I wonder if it's because it's towards the end of the season, if a lot of the wolves aren't at dens anymore because they're young or more grown up, and so they're a little less predictable on where they're gonna be. But that bull moose was definitely my highlight, and if we don't see anything else, I'm totally okay with that, because we got to get rolling here pretty soon. But if you enjoyed this video and this little tour of Yellowstone, there's still so much more you can do here. We just packed in as much as we could in a day and a half. I highly recommend spending 4 or 5 days here and then doing the same down in the Tetons if you can. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you up in Geyser National Park. Just when I thought we were done with the trip, more and more wildlife kept popping up for us to see. So we aren't quite done yet. Stick around as we keep chasing animals. Looks like we just missed a wolf pack, but right now I think we're looking at a coyote. Yeah, that definitely looks like a coyote. Trotting around. Still very pretty. Very pretty. Yeah, I have them perfectly spotted in right now.
Yeah, it's a coyote.
Yep, pointy face. Looks like the coyote's back home.
It's got pronghorn.
So we just missed the wolves by a couple minutes, but you know, that's just how it goes. And right after that, we did see that coyote, which that coyote was beautiful. But all of that is so far out, you need spotting scopes or really good binoculars to really see anyways. You're not really gonna get photos of them. So that's one thing we have definitely learned over the years is to invest in nice binoculars and a spotting scope when you come to these areas. There are rental places, so you could do that too. But it's kind of nice to have your own, and then you can use them anywhere. But that is it for our Yellowstone adventure. Thank you for coming along with us. Soon we will be backpacking in Geyser, and then after that we're gonna explore a little bit more of Geyser as well. So we will see you in the next one. And again, I thought we were done with the video, but then we found a bear in her den. So of course we had to stop and take photos and video her. Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how anybody even found this den. It's so hard to see from far away. Okay, I thought we were wrapping up in Yellowstone, but no, we had one last trick up our sleeve. And it is a bear den right off of the road, kind of near the petrified tree. And that bear is just laying in there, sticking her nose out, and what a great way to end our trip here. Moose and bear. I thought the bear might be done for the year, but not quite.
I mean, she might be. She's in her den already.
Yeah, she looked pretty tuckered out and ready for winter. Until next time, Yellowstone, we will be back.
Got the elk exploring Gardner.
Very proud elk.